Hello there. We are finishing the section about client-side attacks. So as always, I would like to talk a little bit about mitigation techniques. So let's see them point by point. First, you need to do validation. So first is validation. As we already mentioned, as you could see, most of the attacks are based on that users could manipulate something to input data. So the first step to security is to validate this data. Developers need to know for every input field what kind of data they are expecting there and make sure that everything else is rejected. So if it's a telephone number, then no letters, for instance. This is not necessarily about security. It can save you lots of functional bugs as well when you make sure that your database is clean from garbage. The second point is output escaping. When the application sends data back to the user, then you have to make sure that these data will be used as intended. So if you're including user data in the HTML page, then you have to always make sure that all this output is HTML encoded. With that, you can catch most of the cross-site scripting attacks. The third point is the XSS protection header. So XSS protection header. Modern browsers have built-in cross-site scripting protection, what you can manage with the XSS protection response header. So it responds what comes from the server. You can tell whether you want this protection to be turned on or turned off and how it should work. This works well against reflected cross-site scripting attacks because what it does, it checks that whether a suspicious input in the request was reflected back in the HTTP response. If it sees that, then you can either remove the suspicious part or block the response altogether. Of course, as always, there are quite a few bypass techniques. So as an exercise, you can research a little bit how you can bypass this XSS protection in browsers. If you find something, then post a comment or open a discussion about it. The fourth is the content security policy header. So for the policy header, there's also an HTTP response header, and this is the newest protection mechanism. With this header, the server can tell the browser from where and how resources could be downloaded. For instance, when we did the cross-site scripting with the external JavaScript file, we could protect against such attacks with the content security policy because we can tell the browser that JavaScript files are not allowed to be downloaded from external domains. A great resource on CSP is the contentsecuritypolicy.com. Check it out. With this, we are finished with the client-side attacks. Of course, there are plenty of other attacks, techniques, various exploitation methods, but I think what we learned here are the mostly used and most important. But anyways, congrats for finishing this section. I recommend you now to stop a little bit, go through again what we learned in this section, make sure that you really understand everything. If it doesn't, then exercise a bit more, research a bit more, or open a discussion. And when you're finished with that, then I will see you in the next section. So thanks for watching, and bye.